Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes, and the main purpose of this video is to give you guys a good look around this Mk2 Escort that, if you're watching this video soon after it was released, is currently on eBay. I want to give anyone who's considering bidding on this thing the best chance possible to know exactly what they're getting and what they're not getting, because I'm not here to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. You know, maybe I'm a rubbish car salesman, maybe I'm a rubbish businessman, but my morals and honesty are way more important to me than how much money is in my pocket. So if you've come over here from the eBay listing, welcome to my channel. If you are considering bidding on a Mk2 Escort, that probably means you're somewhat interested in Mk2 Escort. So do consider subscribing to this channel now to follow what I get up to with my other Mk2 Escort and a Mk1 Escort that I own, as well as following me on my journeys to check out car shows and other people's cars and that sort of thing. Now, the lighting isn't great today with the sun up there, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. But essentially, this is what's on eBay. It's a body shell, a four-door Mk2 Escort. I think this is a 1978 or a 1976, can't remember. I've got the logbook in my name, so you know it will come with the ID. I think it is important to mention that yes, the logbook is in my name, but I've had a couple of people get in touch to say that they would like to own this car just because I've owned it, which, you know, I'm honoured that people would think that that makes a car more worth owning. But I think it's important to mention that this car is registered in my legal name, which isn't Marcus Hayes. But yeah, essentially this is just a body shell of a Mk2 Escort. Does come with ID, it does come with the glass, and as you can see, it doesn't have a bonnet or any front wings fitted. It does have a rear axle fitted, so it's half rolling, you could say, but it's worth noting that there's no rear brakes. The half shafts that are in there are actually snapped at the diff end, so they were just in there to get this thing rolling. It's obviously on the leaf springs and stuff, and it will come on these wheels at the back. But at the front, as you can see, there's no suspension or anything. I'll have to put it on a trolley, which I've got over here, so that whoever decides to bid on it can roll it onto a truck or whatever. But yeah, essentially it is just a body shell. You know, the rear axle and stuff, see that as a bonus. It is just a body shell minus the front wings and the bonnet. So I'm going to give you a detailed look around the whole car. I'm going to show you all the rust that I know about close up, and just give you a really good look at the car so that you know what you're getting if you bid on it. If you do want to come and view the car, it's based in Hertfordshire. It's obviously a bit of a mission to pull out the garage. I've actually had to drag it out on the hoist using a bit of seatbelt wrapped around the crossmember. So, you know, I can drag it out for anyone who wants to view it, but I'm hoping being thorough in this video is going to mean that I'm going to have to drag it in and out of the garage less than I otherwise would have. And for any of you guys that are thinking about bidding on it that live far away, it might save you a trip. But yeah, I will give you a good look round the outside, round the inside, round the underneath. But for anyone that doesn't have time to hear me rabbiting on about every little bit of the car, let's cue some music and I'll throw together a few clips so you can get a general idea of the state of this shell. Right, so before we start honing in on each individual bit, it's worth noting that this car has been painted signal blue with a roller. Before that, it was painted matte black with a roller. So there's plenty of layers of paint and primer on these panels. When I first put this together, the idea was to have a daily / drift car, and it suited that purpose very well. So I wasn't fussed about making all the panels dead straight, because I knew I was going to be painting it matte black with a roller at the time, and obviously now it's been painted matte signal blue with a roller. So, you know, it does look straight with the matte blue paint rolled on. In my opinion, I don't think this thing will ever be a proper show car ever again. You know, I'm just being honest with you. So yeah, I'll walk around the car starting from the front. I'll mention any welding that has been done in my ownership as I go round, and yeah, I'll just try and give you the best look at this thing as possible. So we'll start at the front end. There was quite a lot of welding done in my ownership on this front end, including this front panel. It's worth noting that I did have to trim a bit off of this front panel for clearance. You know, this was a bit of a drift toy, so I had loads of lock, and you know, the wheels would rub when I was at drift days and stuff. So this front panel was fitted in my ownership. At the same time, it had this whole slam panel and radiator support and front crossmember bit, which you could buy in one lump. That was all welded in at the same time. The inner wings weren't changed though. Worth noting that I did a crude job of modifying this area so that I could fit a larger radiator. Normally this would be cut out nice and neatly, but you know, I just cut it along there and bashed it in. At the same time as all them bits being replaced, it had the RS top plates fitted along with these bits on the side. The RSs, I think, also have a bit down here which we didn't bother fitting. Oh, and at that same time, this bit here was replaced. You can see the seam sealer going down there, and at the time the guy made the wings bolt on. That's why you've got these riv nuts along here. But yeah, I'll just give you a good look at the engine bay, especially the rust. Plenty of surface rust on this chassis leg in particular. Quite a few patches of surface rust going on around there. This area down here, I actually dented in to clear my exhaust manifold. So yeah, that's got a bit of surface rust as well. Another little patch there. And the battery tray is, yeah, quite rusty, surface rust, but yeah, quite deeply ingrained. Yeah, bit of surface rust coming through here. And this engine bay was just rattle can satin black by myself. Oh, we also added these brackets for the strut brace. But yeah, I mean, also cut out this bit to clear the radiator, of course. But yeah, I think that's a thorough look at the engine bay. It's worth noting as well, if you've got any questions about anything that you think I've missed, yeah, let me know in the comments, or just drop me an email, and yeah, I can send you some extra photos or information. So we'll look at the other side of the inner wings now. Pretty solid, to be fair. Yeah, the A-pillars are certainly really solid. This car, more recent than when we welded the front end up, had some work to these splash guard bits. I can't remember whether we done both sides, but I think we did. But yeah, they're all solid. They normally go up here. Yeah, both sides were definitely welded up here, if I remember rightly. I think the other side might have had pretty much the whole splash guard, or maybe both sides did, but yeah, pretty solid. Oh, these bits here are because the threads inside for the cross member bolts cross-threaded, so I just cut a window and then I'm able to nut and bolt it, basically. I think this one also did cross-thread, but we welded a nut inside for that. But yeah, I'll just show you the bottom of the A-pillar. I will go along the sills and show you that closely in a minute. But yeah, trying to keep some sort of order to this video, so we'll go around the other side now. And yeah, bottom of the A-pillar looks a bit dodgy, but you know, the A-pillars themselves are solid, and the splash guards as well, as I say. Yep, same deal here. The nut got cross-threaded. Yeah, pretty solid. I mean, in a lot of places this car is, you know, really solid, but just want to be super honest with everyone. I think we'll go down the driver's side now, and I'll just show you what state the doors are in. I mean, normally any sort of dodgy bits will be at the bottom. You can see surface rust coming through there. And pretty much the same on this rear door. It's worth noting this car doesn't have any handles. I've taken the latches out and the strikers. It still does have the window mechanisms in, the window winder mechanisms, and all the glass, of course. But yeah, I'll go around the other side and show you them doors. I will get to the seals and all the underneath stuff in a minute, which I know is really important. But yeah, same story really. Any dodginess that's coming through is, you know, just at the bottom of the doors where they normally go. But yeah, you know, this has had layers and layers of paint, and there will be filler in there. Realistically, all these old Escorts have filler in them and stuff. It's just that most people aren't as honest as I am. But yeah, moving around to the rear quarter panel, all looks semi-okay. These holes were where the rear light protectors were. Yeah, bit of a dent there I can see. You know, this was a drift car, don't forget. Definitely a bit dodgy there. I'll give you a better look at that hole when we look in the boot in a minute. And while we're here, let's have a look at the inner arches. Just loads of tyre debris and stuff there. Not bad, not bad. And yeah, around the other side, again, you know, looks okay-ish. Definitely something going on there. Definitely some filler repairs going on there, but yeah. If I remember rightly, this area, oh, the sun's blocking the view a bit. If I remember rightly, this area had a big patch in it, professionally done. Same guy that done all the front end bit, but it looks like all these areas are starting to go. And there's actually a hole there. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm just looking to show you everything. So yeah, I'll give you a nosy in the cockpit now. I think while I'm at it, I'll show you what the inside of the doors look like. Definitely going a bit orange under there. Let's get a light on it. Definitely going a bit orange. And I'll show you the rear one. I'm just trying not to miss anything out. But yeah. Definitely a bit of orangeness at the bottom of the doors. And I'll show you the other two now, so I don't forget. Yeah. So yeah, all four doors going a bit orange underneath. But yeah, back to the cockpit. Now I actually did some welding myself before I put this on the road about 12 years ago, I think it was, which did include some floor pan sections and some inner seals. I'm not a professional welder, but as you can see, the inner seals and these floors do need redoing anyway. But yeah, there's a hole there, but yeah, it is very rusty. You can see that the sort of A-pillar and splash guards, yeah, that was replaced, as I say. Give you a good look up at the bulkhead, which I remember cleaning and sealing the joints years ago. And yeah, there's the other splash guard. So yeah, I'm pretty sure both full splash guards were replaced. That was probably the most recent welding that this car had, actually. A couple of years ago now though. But yeah, it's worth noting that this car ran a Type 9 gearbox, which means you need to move the gear stick hole back. I did it in a very crude way. This plate was riveted in and sealed, as you can see. It still has the original gearbox mounts, though I used some sort of offset lowering blocks. So that's worth noting, but the tunnel is standard. But yeah, it's definitely starting to go there. It was hidden under here, but I'm not here to hide anything, you know. It's worth noting as well that behind that hole I just showed you in the tub on the driver's side, it is going. This is sort of starting to separate here. yeah, as I say, I'm not trying to hide anything. I want you to know exactly how good or bad this thing is. But round to the passenger side, the rust obviously isn't as bad. They usually go more on the driver's side just because you drive on the left and the passing traffic and stuff is on that side. But yeah, it is, you know, it's definitely rusty. And here it's worth noting that this was beaten with a hammer. It's sort of this shaped to clear an exhaust manifold. So a bit of a ghetto exhaust tunnel, you could say. And then there's the other side of that bit I showed you in the engine bay, which again has been bashed about to clear an exhaust manifold. And yeah, with regards to the inner seal this side, yeah, nowhere near as bad as the other side, as you can see. But yeah, definitely starting to go. Surface rust. So yeah, that is the cockpit. This area in the back here I just painted with a brush, matte black, just to tidy it up and hide the green, because it obviously didn't look very good against the blue, and this was obviously showing because I didn't have rear seats fitted. But yeah, other than that, that is the floors. Definitely not as rotten as some out there, but definitely going to need some work. So I think we'll look in the boot now, and then I'll get underneath and show you under there. So yeah, into the boot floor. Pretty solid in terms of the centre. They normally go where these grommets are. You can see scabs, but no holes as yet. Yeah, so it is what it is. But in these wells, it is going. It looks like this is separating from a repair panel that I'm guessing has been put in here. See welding up here where arches have been done in the past. There's that patch there that I mentioned, but yeah, starting to go orange definitely, but this side is way worse. Look at that big hole, and you can see separating along the seam there. You know, the rear quarter is basically separating there. See welds here from previous repairs. But yeah, it's what it is. Bits of orange everywhere. So yeah, it'll definitely need this well at least. But definitely repairable. In terms of the inside of the rear panel, I'll show you that. Just don't want to miss anything out. And yeah, we'll have a look at the outside of the rear panel. Don't think I showed you that before. Let's get a light on it. So yeah, it's obviously the other side of that hole that I just showed you. Yeah, there is the rear panel. Now this is a fiberglass boot lid. Doesn't have the striker bit there. Does have the latch because this was modified to fit this boot lid. I think I had to enlarge this hole, the bolt hole, so that can stay with it. But this is just a fiberglass boot lid with the RS style spoiler. It's a bit ropey, to be honest. Didn't pay a lot for this boot lid, but you know, it's an RS style lightweight fiberglass boot lid, which will come with the car. Right, I'll just show you the other side of the A pillars, and then I can sort of show you along the top of the seal, and then the B pillar. It might be quite important for people to see. And then into the tub there. Yeah. And then I suppose you might as well have the inside of the gutter as well. And the same the other side. Inside of the A pillar. Along the top of the seal. B pillar. And the rear of the B pillar.
along the top of the sill and into the tub. You can see I used red oxide primer. And then along the inside of the gutter.
And yeah, I don't think I've really missed anything in terms of the top outside of the car. I can give you a look at the roof, but with it being matte, you're not really going to see any defects anyway. But yeah, it's worth noting that I did remove the headlining. So yeah, I think I'll show you along the seals now, give you a good look at them, and then we'll dive underneath. All right, passenger side seal at the front. You can see this is going very scabby. That bit there has obviously got a patch on the inside, but yeah, just pan across, you can sort of see this has got a ton of sealer over the top of it. I fitted these seals years ago, like 12 years ago. I'm no welder, but I just slapped them on. I did cut out the rust first, slapped them on. They're not butt welded, they're overlapped, and then just put a load of sealer. So yeah, I will give you a better look at the back of the seal in a minute, but while we're here, we'll look at the chassis leg that's definitely been jacked up on loads of times. It's had patches there, as you can see. Yeah, and there you can see the dent from my ghetto exhaust tunnel. But yeah, that's the chassis leg. And that is the seal. And I just hope that's a good enough look at what is a very important bit when you're looking to buy an old Escort. Yeah. And then looking from the back of the seal, obviously there's the spring hanger and stuff. Let's see if I can get the camera in there so you can see. Yeah, there's the sort of back area of the rear inner seal. And there's a jacking point. And then yeah, from the back of the seal, moving along, and again you just hit the area there where I put loads of sealer on it, and give you a look at the chassis leg. There's actually a hole in the chassis leg there. That's the passenger side seal. Definitely some filler and stuff cracking here. I think around here there ended up being a tiny rust hole that started coming through, and I just put fiberglass filler in it. But ultimately, based on that, you know, it needs inner and outer seals anyway, so don't think any of this is relevant. But as I keep saying, I just want to show you everything. Anyway, I'll show you the other side seal now, and then we'll have a look underneath at anything that you can't see from here. All right, so same deal as the other side. We're starting at the front. All looks very bad. This side is worse. As I say, the driver's side tends to rust quicker than the passenger side, but there's the front of the seal there. That's where I would have overlapped my seals that I put on, it looks like. But yeah, moving from the front, we'll just move along. You can see a hole there. Yeah, pretty bad. But it was clear from the inside that it needs inner seals anyway. While we're here, we'll have a look at the chassis leg. Again, patches that have been put in there. Plenty of surface rust, plenty of dents where it's been jacked up. But for the most part, the chassis legs are all there still. One last look along here, and then I'll move towards the back. This light is not doing a good job. Yeah, you get the idea. And then at the back of the seal, I'll just try and get it behind there so you can see. So yeah, there's the sort of inside of the back of the inner seal and the jacking point and stuff. Yeah. And then we'll just go along here like we did the other side. But
yeah, this driver's side inner seal was pretty bad, as I say, so it's no surprise that this looks pretty ropey under here. And we'll have a look at the chassis leg going from the back. And while we're here, give you a look at the spring shackle and stuff, and sort of the rear chassis leg. But yeah, now I'll get under the car and show you what I can under there. Alright, so I'm at the rear chassis leg now. There's the bit where the rear shock bump stop would bang against. Yeah, just give you a look at the rear chassis legs. It's worth noting that these chassis legs were filled with wax oil by me years ago. Yeah, hope that gives a good picture. And then we'll go along the back of the boot floor there, along the rear panel, and then the other side chassis leg at the back. So yeah, I hope that shows it good enough. But yeah, in general, the boot floor is pretty solid. This actually looks less scabby than my new Mk2 Escort project, but there you go. And then there's the bit over the axle. Alright, so I'm now under the front passenger side floor pan. There's my ropey exhaust tunnel. There's the gearbox mount. Give you a look at the inside of the tunnel first. Probably the last bit to rust on the floor though, to be honest. And then this is the floor pan itself and the other side of the chassis leg, of course. And there's a nosy at the inside of the leaf spring bracket. It's worth noting that this car has anti-tramp bar brackets fitted as well. But, yeah, a bit of underseal come off there. So yeah, I hope that shows it good enough. And then obviously towards the rear of the car. And then to spin round, it's really hard to light this area up because we're in shadow. But yeah, it's the front floor pan. You can see patches on the chassis leg there. Yeah, there's the inside of the chassis leg. Still got the brake line on, but I did remove the fuel pipe. Rear floor pan. And front floor pan. So yeah, I think that gives you a good idea. Sort of in between the chassis legs, the floor's really solid, but that is often the case, to be honest. And then there's a view towards the back again. Yeah, as I say, half shafts are both snapped, so they're scrap. That's just to get the rear end rolling. This isn't an RS axle, it had an aftermarket anti-tramp bar kit fitted. Yeah, don't really know what else is to say. See, I think I've shown this thing as thoroughly as I can. I definitely feel like I've shown it thoroughly than most people would, but as I say, I'm not looking to pull the wool over anyone's eyes. You know, if no one bids on it and it's not right for anyone else, then I'll just look at taking it to a scrapyard and maybe I'll be able to film it getting crushed. It might make an interesting video, I don't know. But if you do decide to bid on it, then good luck.
Yeah, I hope this video has served its purpose. If you haven't already, do subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with my life with my cars. Give the video a thumbs up if you haven't already. Check the links in the description to follow me elsewhere on social media. My email address is down there for anyone that's got any questions, especially if you've got any questions about this car. I've got a load of other photos that I can send you as well. So yeah, feel free to get in touch. Massive shout and a thanks to my patrons as usual for your ongoing support. But other than that, until next time, thanks for watching.